On League of Ireland Lives, and I'm very happy to welcome the Dundalk Striker Patrick Hoban. Pat, how are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you getting on?
I'm very good, thanks. Pat has used some board games to prop his iPad up so we can see him. So I guess you've been using them in isolation to try and keep yourself somewhat occupied along with your exercise and stuff.
Yeah, I have a bit of the game, 30 seconds, Scrabble, what's this, Rummy Cup, stuff like that. Trying to keep the mind occupied as much as possible, which is important.
If my little brother listens, he is a Rummy Cup addict. We play it every Christmas, so it's a great game. And I suppose at this time, everyone is just trying to do whatever they can to keep themselves occupied. And
to be fair, I've been getting battered by the missus with it. My attention span isn't the best when I'm coming to play with it. I get tired in the middle of the game, but yeah, it's not bad. She's battered me though, to be honest.
Yeah, because I know you boys in Dundalk like to play the odd card game or some board games on your European trip. So that experience hasn't helped you beat your missus.
No, not at all. We used to, obviously, before Robbie Benson left, he used to be the games master, and he'd had, loads of games. He had Hitler, which was a great game. There's loads. He had plenty of games to keep us occupied on the away trips. So yeah, but no, this kind of game is not helping me at all.
So what have you been doing apart from your runs and your home workouts to try and keep the brain active and not go crazy?
Just trying to stay active as possible. Doing my running in the morning and trying to keep into the same routine, which is very difficult. But yeah, I get my running done or my little gym. I have a gym area there in the corner of my house.
Oh, very nice, lovely. Yeah, very nice, very nice.
So, I do as much as I can stay active, go for walks and stuff like that. Sorry.
All right, no problem.
Go for walks, stuff like that, with the dog. I've been battering Netflix. I've nearly watched everything, every TV series you can name. I've definitely watched it. So, it's been all good so far, I suppose. In with the circumstances, I've been handling it quite well, to be honest.
What's on Netflix?
So the English Game, very good. I thought it was very good. Ozark. I've watched Money Heist. So they were the three main ones I've watched. So I'm going to try and watch The Sopranos now because I've never seen it before. So that's the next one on the list.
Very nice. Yeah, I've started Money Heist myself. I'm just towards the end of the first series, so don't ruin anything for me. It's really good so far.
Probably one of the best I've watched now in a long, long time. So it's right up there for sure.
And in terms of trying to keep fit, I know you're on a Zoom call earlier on. We're chatting on Saturday afternoon with Vinnie Pert, the manager, and all the other players. So the club have been trying to keep you guys as fit as possible because you don't know yet when you're going to return to training. And I suppose everybody's been given individual responsibility to try and do their own stuff, but the use of technology has certainly helped.
Yeah, definitely. We use an app called True Coach. We've used it last year. So basically our fitness coach, Graham Norton, he's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes for us and to make sure he's getting, workouts for us, and he's been putting a lot in place, and even the home gym workouts, he's wide variety of, different exercises to do at home and still keep the muscles strong, I suppose, it's been very good so far. But the runs haven't been the best, to be honest with you. It's very difficult to be doing the runs by yourself, but you have to stay fit, you have to do them, and there's no hiding place anyway for us at the moment, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's not something anybody thought they would have to do. So how have you found it all, and having to train on your own and having to, like you saw behind you, try and put together some sort of gym equipment to build your own home gym and be out in the park or on the road literally running on your own?
Yeah, to be honest, it is difficult, but it's definitely doable. It's important that every player really has to stay fit at this moment of time. I know it's difficult times and all that, but there's no excuses either. I think it's massively important that you keep on top of things, and we're definitely doing it here, and I'd like to think everyone else is doing it too. It is difficult, but I'm managing quite well. Find a grass area somewhere, which is kind of hard to do, but I found one area which is has been not many people there, so my distancing is being quite good at the moment. But the runs have been difficult. We downloaded an app as well to measure our distances and stuff like that in our runs, and so there's definitely no hiding place. So the fitness coach is on top of everything at the moment, which is good. It's only for our own benefit to make sure we come back stronger whenever that may be.
Yeah, and we're speaking on the 11th of April, so that June 19th date is still over 2 months away. As a League of Ireland player, are you yourself confident that you will be back playing matches then?
Yeah, you have to be. You have to follow all the guidelines, what the government has put, in front of us, and with everything that's going on with the league and stuff like that, you just have to follow what they're saying, and so you have to prepare yourself as much as possible for the outcome. And I think what we have in place anyway at the moment, and all the lads working hard and sending their stuff in and stuff like that, we're doing our best to stay on the right path, which is 2 months away now, I suppose, and hopefully there's some games to show for it at the end of it.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I wanted to speak to you was I saw yesterday on Instagram that Dundalk set up a GoFundMe page to try and help some local nursing homes, and you delivered some PPE equipment to them yesterday. You might just explain what happened, and the club, as with every club, are trying to do their best in their own local community to try and help. Yeah,
I think it's just, the club are just trying to help out the community like they always do, which is massively important, especially in these times. So, some of the nursing homes needed some equipment and stuff like that. So the club, they've done the GoFundMe page and stuff like that. And to be fair to everyone, they've chipped in very well. And it was actually a pleasure to go around to each nursing home to see, obviously from the outside, to see like what they're kind of going through and how difficult it is for them. And they're, I know it's the old cliche now, but they are the real heroes at the moment. The stuff that they're going through day in, day out, it's helping our country, and whatever we can give to help it's massively important, and they're doing a fantastic job.
And I'm sure you weren't able to go into the nursing homes themselves, but even for some of the residents who may be football fans, maybe Dundalk fans, to look out the window or give you a wave or know that Dundalk striker Patrick Hoban was there to deliver some stuff, I'm sure was a nice boost for them.
Yeah, and to be honest, it was a nice boost for me too, going around seeing, the work that they're doing, and with the tough times that are here, that they're upbeat, and there are smiles, load of smiles on their faces and stuff like that. So it was great to go around to each one, and they're doing a fantastic job, and it's just great to see. So it was a massive boost for me to see something like that also.
So, Patrick, the podcast here is called League of Ireland Lives, and the fact that we're on a pause at the moment, it felt like a good time to speak to some footballers about their life in the League of Ireland. And yours started with Mereview United. You had a couple of spells there, split with a short spell in England before joining Dundalk in 2013. Then you went back to England for a few years and then came back in 2018. So bring me back to your first League of Ireland memory. What comes to mind?
Johnny Glynn, basically he was the manager. He's the one, kind of put me underneath his wing, and I think I was 16 at the time, and he was he kind of nurtured me into the footballer I am now, I suppose. He was very good to me, and the memories were brilliant. We started in the A League, which was below the first division, and we won that. I didn't play too many games in it, but I came on in, I think it was the final against Kildare for a couple of minutes. But then the season after, I made a few appearances. Still didn't know what my position was. I was playing as a defensive midfielder. I was playing the 10. I was playing out wide, the odd time up top. I was kind of in a load of different positions as well. So, the memories are fantastic with Mereview. We caused a lot of upsets along the way, and regarding we were an amateur club, we actually held our own for good periods of each game, and which was quite enjoyable. It was massively important as well to my development. Getting to play at a level like that at your age it's really important for your development, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
So you went off for a short spell in the UK, and then you came back to Mereview again, to your local club, played lots of games then when you were a couple of years older, and then Stephen Kenny rings and you signed for Dundalk. Bring me to that moment when, I suppose the phone rings and he's trying to build the Dundalk team that he did build, and now Vinnie Perth has taken on. But at that stage, he was trying to sign, people like you from the first division, maybe lads who weren't overly well known, and he decided to give you a call.
Well, it was a funny one for me. So I had a half decent year from Merview. That's when I established the number 9 role as a striker. I scored, I think it was 14 goals that year.
Yeah.
In competitions, 14 or 15, I'm not fully sure. And from what I heard, Stephen was at our game against Salt Hill. It was like last game of the season. It was 0-0. It was, it was a bad day. It was wind, rain, you name it. We were down to 10 men after like 20 minutes. And to be honest, I didn't think I played that great, to be honest. And to hear that he was at the game and that's kind of what he picked me from was a bit funny, but he obviously seen something. And then remember he made the phone call. I had a couple of clubs actually interested in me. I'd Longford that were interested in me that year. I had Limerick. I was very close to signing for Limerick, but Pat Scully, he was the manager at the time. He actually, parted way with the club, and so that didn't flourish that year. And to be honest, I would have probably signed for Limerick if that was going ahead, because it was closer to home at the time. And to be honest, I didn't really know too much about Stephen at the time either. And when I got the phone call, I was researching everything online and doing much as I could to see what he was like as a manager. And then I started to hear great things about him, and it was just a no-brainer to sign for him.
And in that season, St. Pat's won the league. You guys had a really good season, though, and I suppose that was your first experience of full-time football. I think it's possible Dundalk maybe in training afternoons at that time, but when you signed for Merview and you had that season where you're competing with Pats for the league and stuff, how did you find all of that and your first real experience of a proper, league title race in the Premier?
It was, I started off very poor. I done well in pre-season, but then as we got to the games, I think we had Shamrock Rovers, Sligo Rovers and Shelbourne first 3 games, and I struggled, to be honest, with the pace of the game. I wasn't used to it at all, and I was like getting cramps early on, very early, like you're talking 55, 60 minutes, and that was just me not used to the pace of the game. And then Stephen dropped me for, I think it was 7 games in a row. I was making the odd appearance here and there, and I was getting kind of frustrated a small bit, but I was still working hard behind the scenes. And I came on against Cork, and that's when I scored my first goal. And that year, I didn't look back. I went on a great run of scoring goals, and I was used to the pace of the game, and I was getting better and better. And we were very close that year to actually, we could have won the league that year if we beat Pats in Inchicore. But it wasn't to be. They beat us 2-0, and it was a great credit to all of us that year, to come from basically nothing to finishing second, and then obviously winning the league the year after. It was a phenomenal year.
And of course at that time the battle between Dundalk and Cork City was really starting, and the year you won the league in 14, it was only by 2 points. It went very close. I think that was the year where there was a big game in Oriel Park between Dundalk and Cork towards the end to actually win the league. And for previous years, you had Pats and Sligo and Shamrock Rovers and Bows and others, and it was 2 new teams going for it. What do you remember about those battles and that specific game at the end of that season to actually win the league?
From what I remember, we played them the previous 3 times we played them. We beat them 3 times, so we were very comfortable and we were confident going into the game. But obviously, they only needed a draw, which there was a lot of pressure on our hands. I always say if we didn't win the league that year, it would have been, catastrophe really, because I think we were like 7 or 6 points ahead with like 6 games to go or something like that, and we drew a couple of games and we let them back in it, and they were scoring last minute winners and stuff like that. And the pressure did get to us, you have to say, in the last couple of games. And I just remember on the night how calm everyone was in the dressing room before the game. And then half time we came in and we were disappointed, and things weren't going our way, and there was a bit of people giving out and stuff like that. And I just remember Stephen Kenny coming in and how calm he was, saying that we're going to win the game and basically relaxing everyone, and everyone just went out like they were 3-0 up. in the second half. That's how it felt, and we went on to win the game, and to be honest, deservedly so, win the league that year. And it was just, the memories were just unbelievable.
Yeah, and I know shortly after that you went to the UK and then you came back in 2018, and at that stage Cork and Dundalk were still really competing towards the top. I know last season Cork fell off a little bit, but those Cork Dundalk games, the rivalry, being involved in it, at the start, watching it when you were in the UK and then coming back to it again, was a really great time for people to watch the league, and I'm sure for you guys to be involved in that battle.
Yeah, I remember watching, basically nearly every game Cork and Dundalk played. I was in Oriel Park when Cork beat them 3-0. Sean Maguire got a hat-trick that day, and it was actually a poor game from both sides that day. But, Dundalk ended up losing 3-0, and then I remember watching the FAI Cup final when Dundalk lost, and I had to be honest, I had a good feeling I was coming home then, and I said to myself, I want to come back and I want to, make things right, and I want to challenge Cork and hopefully be a difference in games and stuff like that. And I like to think I did that when I came home. The rivalry was fierce, especially my first year back from the UK. It was fierce. Every game was like cup final. They were always tight. There was definitely a bit of a nibble between the two sides. There's no doubt about that. But it created a good atmosphere and a great advert for the league, I thought. And we won the league that year quite comfortably. And but the rivalry was definitely right up there.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about your time in the UK, Pat, but mainly with the League of Ireland, because this is a League of Ireland podcast. But you signed for Oxford in 2014, loaned at Stevenage and Grimsby, and then a spell at Mansfield too. How would you reflect on your time in the UK? Because I know something that you really wanted to do was to go over there and do really well, and you got that chance after that cup final in 2014.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of downs, to be honest. When I signed for Oxford, my first training, I was just after finishing the whole season, and I trained, and I probably could have done with a longer break, to be honest with you, after finishing the season, but I couldn't play until January anyway. They wanted me to train, so obviously I'm going to train, and I done my ankle. I was out for 3 months with it straight away, and I worked extremely hard to get back as fit as I could, and I kind of got thrown into the deep end, as you could say, because Oxford weren't doing that well at the moment, but they were a club that were striving to do bigger things the year after. And first 9-10 games, I was basically thrown in, starting every game, but it was difficult. I wasn't match fit, didn't feel fit at all, wasn't sharp, and just took me a good while to score a goal and to get any kind of confidence going. And then my general play was okay, but I think the damage was done for me at Oxford at that first half season, because they ended up signing Kemar Roof and Ryan Taylor, and so I had to work twice as hard for the following year. And I got in the team there, the odd time, and I scored 6 goals in that season with them in the first half of the season, with the little time I actually had. I can't really remember the stats or the minutes, but it was quite good. But they wanted me to go out on loan, and which was unfortunate, because they ended up having a great year, getting promoted that year. And then with going to Stevenage, was trying to freshen up things probably and trying to get going again, and well, that didn't work out either. So it sounds like all doom and gloom, but Teddy Sheringham signed me as the manager. He was sacked that evening after me signing for a loan move for a month. But it didn't really change anything. They still wanted me to play and stuff. So first game in, and I done my ankle again. I was out for a month, so that was my loan finished. And then I had no choice but to go on loan to the conference, because all the other transfer windows for the league teams was closed, so I had to go to the conference. So I went to Grimsby, and that was to be honest, I enjoyed Grimsby. It was difficult living there, because I was staying in a hotel I was in a hotel for about 5 months. That was the difficulty, not cooking my own food and stuff like that, and having my own real space. But We got promoted that year. I done reasonably okay general play wise, but not finishing wise. I just wasn't getting in positions to score goals, and that's just the way it was. Really enjoyed my time at Mansfield. Loved it. Adam Murray was brilliant with me. He had every bit of faith in me. He gave me my chance when the time was right, and I thought I took it. But then unfortunately got the sack. Steve Evans came in, and first couple of games, Steve Evans, I was doing really well. I had 2 goals in 3 games for him or something like that, and then he brought in his own players in January, and I was kind of shafted to the stand, and which wasn't easy to take. And obviously I wanted to go out on loan again. He wouldn't let me. I played in the Checker Trade Cup against Oldham, scored twice, still wasn't getting any game time. So it was kind of just, to be honest, it was another season kind of rode off for me, and I just said, you know what, it's time for me to come home because it's just not working. And that bit of luck, I just wasn't getting it. And, you know, the club got me right, Dundalk got me right in terms of fitness, in terms of my injuries. And, you know, I haven't been injured since, touch wood, since I've come back to Dundalk. And, you know, I strived with that massively.
Yeah, I suppose watching Sunderland Till I Die on Netflix just gives you an insight into, you know, how clubs work and managers and coaches and chairmen, and that there's lots more going on behind the scenes that might impact players and stuff, which I'm sure is something you experience. But you summed that up really well, Pat. Were Dundalk the only club you wanted to come home to? You were going to come home to? Was there other interest? And were you happy to link up with Stephen Kenny and the lads again? I'm sure you were.
So what happened was I was without a club, and I think it was in July, and I had a couple of offers to stay in the UK and actually go to stay in the League Two, but I wasn't fully sure if I wanted to do that all over again. But I was doing my own training, and I ended up doing my medial meniscus. It's called a bucket handle tear medial meniscus on my right knee by myself, which was a totally disaster. Basically, no club would touch me then, and I had to go through the PFA over there for them to cover my costs in terms of surgery and then the rehab, and which was really difficult. I had to do rehab on my own because I lost down the 2 weeks that you go. They pay for like 2 weeks of rehab, and I lost down that because they've something with the insurance. They won't cover it anymore, and so that was really extremely difficult. And I just said, you know what, just come home. And I was lucky enough for Stephen to actually bring me home and signed me, and then I was with Danny Miller for that whole off season, and he just got me right. He was unbelievable with me, and you know, basically the story says itself. I scored 32 goals that year, and it was just it was a phenomenal year for me to come back from where I was. But you know what, the main thing was I just never gave up. That's massively important. You see young lads coming home a lot from the UK, and they get downhearted and downbeat, and they lose a lot of confidence and motivation, and they're mentally they get weakened from the UK. And as long as they stay at it, it's really important. If you stay at it, you can get to where you want to be, and not to give up. And I think that's massively important.
Yeah, so league in 2018, FAI Cup in 2018 as well in your first season back. You've since become the Dundalk record goal scorer as well. But at the end of that season, the manager leaves and he goes to the FAI and he goes to the 21s, and he's now ultimately the senior manager. What do you remember about that time and having had such a good first season back with the manager who signed you back? He's then left the club.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, because we didn't know what was going on at the time. Obviously, we knew Stephen was gone. It was heartbreaking after having the year I had with him. And how well I've always played underneath Stephen. He always got the best out of me, and he was a very good manager, and he was phenomenal in what he was doing at the club. And it was heartbreaking, but it was up to all of us really to roll up our sleeves and kick on and make sure that we retained the league at least. And Vinny took over, and I think Vinny done really, really well in his first season. We could have made history by winning 5 trophies in that year, and unlucky not to win a penalty shootout. That's just the way things go. And Stephen's doing his thing now. He's obviously the Republic of Ireland manager now, and well deserved as well, by the way. And we've come up leaps and bounds too. And I think we started the season quite well this year, and we were raring to go. And obviously, what happened has happened. You can't stop that, and we're at a halt now. But we are in a really good place, and and that's due to all the staff, Vinny, and all the players.
For you, Pat, as an attacking player, and the likes of your McElhennys and your Michael Duffys and your Robbie Bensons, so on, Jamie McGrath, etc. I spoke to him on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Stephen Kenny, for you, giving you the confidence to go and express yourself and try things. And I attended his virtual press conference the other day, and one line was, "I want every schoolboy team in the country to watch my Ireland senior team and want to play like us." And when you were with him in Dundalk, the team played some brilliant, exciting, attacking football. And one line from Jamie McGrath last week was, Stephen Kenny kept saying to him at half-time, "Stop playing it backwards." And I'm sure for you, he just kept saying, "Get in the box, do your stuff, get me some goals." And he let you do that. He let you, he gave you the license to go and be his number 9.
Yeah, just to express yourself and go out and do, what you're good at. And, he will give you a kick up the arse as well too. There's no doubt about that. But which every manager does that. But for me, I get quite frustrated with myself and stuff like that. And having Stephen put his arm around your shoulder and saying, forget about that. Forget about, just keep going, keep expressing yourself, keep trying to score goals, keep doing the hard work for the team. And, Stephen, he has that kind of knack of, or the skill, you could say, of just getting the best out of players. And he's definitely done that with me and with a lot of players. And I think it'll be the same for Ireland, to be honest.
Yeah. On that, and having listened to his press conference the other day, I think he will definitely have the team playing the way he wants them to play. The 21s, I'm sure you've seen him, have just been brilliant. Do you think he will definitely be the same in terms of style and stuff with the Ireland senior team as he was with you guys and with the 21s?
Well, I don't see why not. As you can see what he done with us, and then he's brought us straight to the under 21s, and you can see the success they were getting even in that Toulon tournament. They got beat by Brazil 2-0, but they played some very good stuff as well. And I think the key thing is he doesn't really fear any team as long as he gets the best out of his own players and gets them to express themselves. But at the end of the day, you need to win football matches, and he gets that too, and playing the right way, in my opinion. And he does that by getting the best out of each player he has, and his man management skills and the way he wants his team set up. And it's for, I'm sure, as a neutral, it's a good watch for you to see a team playing the right way. And you're definitely gonna. I can't see anything else but Stephen doing that with the senior team, getting the right style of football there.
Yeah, and of course there's been lots of debate recently about the type of players that he might select, and the lads who are in the current squad, some of his 21s, and particularly in the striking department, Aaron Connolly, Troy Parrott, Adam Ida, etc. He knows you can score goals, Pat, too. You're 28, you've got lots ahead of you. I'm sure you'll be hopeful if you can whack a few in that he might certainly be thinking about you.
Actually, you never know. It's important that, I just keep working hard. I know it's one of those things that every player will say, but it is important that I keep working hard. It's twice as hard as ever, and hopefully score goals and keep scoring goals. But scoring goals in Europe as well would be a massive plus on my side. So, there's a lot of targets that I want to hit this year, and hopefully I get very close to them and, see where that takes me. Stephen always believed in what I've done when I was playing for Dundalk. I know international football is a different level, but I held my own in Europe before. But here, look, he's a lot to choose from. So I just have to keep doing my job, and you never know in the future. You never know what happens. So just keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you never know.
Yeah, and scoring goals as well, Pat. A few different celebrations over the years. Do you put much thought into them? And there was one, I can't remember what few games where maybe you were getting a bit of stick in the press. I don't know, we're all fans, and you were very eager to let everyone know who you were with the back of the jersey or whatever when you were scoring. Sligo, yes, okay.
Yeah, that was last year. I was kind of, not going to lie, I was pissed off. Straight up, I'm going to tell you, I was pissed off. A lot of negative comments towards me, and you know, I was the captain of Dundalk as well when Garth wasn't playing, and I was getting stick from even my own fans as well, and it wasn't nice, especially the year I just had. But to be honest, that's forgotten about, and I know that. And I was actually doing quite well against Sligo. That was the thing, and I was getting stick from the Sligo fans. They're saying you can't really say it on this, but you get it all the time. So I think the penalty down the middle to make it 1-1, and I just gave them a little reminder who I was. Just kind of something that just happens. You don't really think about it like the day before or the week before. It's just something that happens at that, you know, spur of the moment. You know, you kind of, I won't say lose your head, but just something comes in and you just do it, and that's just that. Ended up losing that game, so it kind of bit me in the arse, didn't it? Yeah. Honest, that's happened a few times to me. So I think I need to refrain from doing any of those ones anymore, because that's happened to me 3 times now in 4 years. So I need to stop doing that celebration.
Tell me what it feels like to score a big League of Ireland goal for you. Like, you've scored so many of them. You are Dundalk's top scorer, European games, big cup games, big league games and stuff. What's the feeling like to actually score a big goal in those type games?
To be honest, every goal I score, there's no better feeling. You're just on cloud 9 when you score. It just gives you that bit extra confidence to do other stuff in the game and to play that. You know, it just gives you, it's like an adrenaline level to spur you on to, you know, try and do more and score more and run more, and it just gives you that. It's just I can't describe the feeling. It is phenomenal. Obviously scoring against Rovers and stuff like that, there's a bit more edge maybe to the game and stuff like that, but honestly it feels the same. I just love scoring goals, and it's something I love to do, and I don't want to stop now either. So hopefully there's plenty more in the bag in the next couple of years.
Lastly, Pat, away from football, and I know we've spoken about the virus and being at home now and the board games and Netflix and stuff, but in general, what do you get up to away from being a football player? And when you do finish in 5, 6, 7 years' time, what do you hope to be maybe up to from that sense?
Well, I've trying to plan in place. Obviously, it's all put to a bit of a halt now, but try and get my coaching badges done to see if that's the route I want to take. I already have stuff in line in terms of I might set up my own business in terms of football business in like youth coaching back in my hometown, maybe in Galway or maybe up here. I'm not fully sure yet. So yeah, I have a few things in mind that I want to do. I definitely want to stay in the game. I love the game too much to leave the game, to be honest with you. And so hopefully just get the required requirements in terms of the coaching badges. That's definitely my main aim, is to get that in the next couple of years and then see where that takes me, because I can see myself, you know, playing a part in the game, and hopefully, with fingers crossed, I can do it.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say become a football agent there, and your agent Liam Carroll from First for Players gave me awful stick when I had Jamie McGrath on about the move to Scotland, not giving him a shout out and mentioning him. So I better mention him here, because otherwise I'll be in big trouble with him.
Yeah, to be honest, he's doing a phenomenal job as well. No, I don't know if I can handle all the phone calls, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, maybe, you never know. You never know in football, whatever path you go on. But I definitely want to stay in the game and do the coaching badges and see where it takes me. You know, people, you know, my close friends always said to me I'd be a very good PT, but to be honest, I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to, you know, stay in the game. I love the environment. I just love the game. I love everything about it. So get the requirements. That's the main thing for me at the moment. And
for now, when you get back playing, is score more goals for the next few years and keep the career flying. So Pat, thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of your lockdown, and we'll see you soon. Cheers. Thanks a million.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.